After the girl I was in love with broke up with me, I wanted to kill myself. My name is Damo. In this channel, I will be sharing with you my most vulnerable, deepest, darkest stories, along with the stories of the men that I surround myself with, to show you that even if you are in the toughest spot in your life and you believe that it is impossible to get out, I will make the promise to always give applicable step-by-step tips at the end of my stories to provide you the value and the knowledge of how to not only get over whatever situation you are in, but how to detach and become the superior, self-improved version of yourself. Now sit back and enjoy, because this is my most vulnerable, deepest, darkest story that broke me as a man and led me on the path of self-improvement. After 2 years, I finally went on my first date with this girl that I met off Hinge. And in the first weeks of online dating, I would only get 1 or 2 matches a week. That was until I learned about looks maxing and how to take the best photo, but more importantly, how to talk to women online. And I would go online onto these like red pill dating coach YouTube videos of, well, how do I talk to these girls? What's the best first line opener? And I would learn all these tips and tricks. But one day, the most gorgeous 10 out of 10 girl popped up onto my feed and I sent her a message. At the time, she was my exact type. Short, blonde, very cute, green eyes, had tattoos everywhere. And most importantly, she was a gym girl. It's something I look for a lot in women, and it was extremely attractive to find. If I could set this setting on those apps to only women who work out, I would have done it. Now, what was different with this woman was she was the first girl that didn't buy into my bullshit of those lines. And when we had our first conversation online, it was everything that I could have ever fantasized about. Now, as a kid, I grew up extremely feminine and extreme affinity and attraction to love. I loved love movies. I loved watching the character on the screen who was like the nerdy but funny guy steal the girl from the jock, from that alpha Chad guy. So I instantly clicked with this girl and we got to know each other so much just through text that we set up a date for the next day. And if you guys are coming from my Instagram or my other YouTube channel, you know that this is my full-time job and I spend 10 to 12 hours every single day working on it. But on that day, I cut off work at 3 p.m. because we had the date set for 4. And I remember right at 3:30, she texts me and goes, "I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to push it to 6. Something just came up." And that's when the first time in my life, I felt this layer of anxiety start building up in my system. Is this girl just using me for attention? I'm not extremely religious, but some sort of intuition told me that not only will this date go well, but it will change my life forever. And I knew it to be true when, for the first time in 3 years, I cleaned my bathroom. And I haven't cleaned my bathroom in 3 years, so you know it's fucking nasty. I was in there with the Windex and the paper just scrubbing and scrubbing. When I was driving over to her place, I was thinking about all these ways that I could get this woman to fall in love with me. I was thinking about all these lines that I could say to her to keep the conversation going and how I could trick her into coming back to my house. But when I got to her place and I got a phone call from her where she asked me if I was there, and I heard her voice for the first time, every single thought that I had dropped, and I ran purely off this unfound intuition that was just deep inside of me. And I remember that really showed up when she came out of the apartment and I saw what back in the day was my 10 out of 10 in physical appearance, the most attractive, gorgeous girl that I have personally ever seen in person, standing right in front of me with the biggest, warmest, nurturing smile. So I gave her a hug, I brought her into the car, and I was trying to regurgitate all these red pill dating lines that I learned, but nothing would come out. The only thing that came out was this pure intuition. I felt like I'd been on 1,000 dates. I felt like I've already had this experience 100 times, and this was the easiest thing in my life. And that was the first time I ever felt the true masculine core inside of me. So when we drive to the restaurant, we're getting to know each other and I'm watching this girl open up so much, laughing already about everything that I'm telling her. We get to know each other over dinner, and one by one we start finding out these things that we have in common about each other. And after the restaurant, I asked her if she wanted to go on a walk with me. She agrees to go on this walk in a very loving, present way. As we're driving there, I'm like trying to vet her out to see like what's going on. I've never connected with a woman like this before. And I'm turning on my favorite music and I ask her like, oh, you know, like, how much do you hate country on a scale of 1 to 10? She looks at me dead in the eyes and she goes, how could I hate country? This occurred over and over with every single conversation we got into. We get to my favorite childhood spot, a spot that has a lot of meaning, a spot that probably brought me the most trauma in my life from some childhood mental abuse. Yeah, man, we're all fucked up. If you're watching this video, you're fucked up with me too. It's okay. I remember I told myself, I have to make the first move. I have to make the first move. If I don't do it now, I'm potentially losing out on my future wife. So, right there and then, I pull her in, I look into her eyes, and I've never seen a woman's pupils that dilated before. And I go in to make the first move, we kiss, and for the rest of the night in that park, we start walking. We're telling each other the stories of our lives. And we get to this little park bench overlooking a lake with this little swing set in the back. And this is a strange example, but we played rock, paper, scissors to see who would push each other on this swing set. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, tie. Rock, paper, tie. Tie, tie. By the 5th time, we're staring at each other, laughing so hard. And eventually, when we tie on the 6th time, she looks me dead in the eyes. She says to me, okay, we have to stop. The next time we play rock, paper, scissors is gonna be the day of our wedding to make sure that we are actually still in love with each other. And that's when I crumbled into being like a little boy. Because for the first time on this date, not only did I feel so connected to this person, but it was the first girl that I ever met who truly openly expressed that affinity for love too. The rest of the night is history. I brought her back home and you can infer what happened, brothers. And at the time, this was the best physical experience I've ever had with a woman. So the next day as I drive her home, she's showing me her phone saying that she feels uncomfortable that she met someone who she's connected so much with and she wishes she could just delete these dating apps. And I make a joke like, okay, maybe one day when we truly fall in love with each other, you can delete them. She goes, why don't I delete them now? And right in front of my eyes, I see her in the passenger seat delete every dating app she had. It's also fucking crazy that I saw like she had over 400 notifications on these apps. That it is very true that women in this modern world get so much more attention from men than vice versa. I drop her off and she asks when's the next time we can see each other, and I respond, anytime you want, as a joke. And we set up a date for the next day. However, as I'm driving home, I start tearing up. Boys, like this is something that I've never told anyone because you feel like such a pussy to say, but I have to tell you because I feel like some guys out there have definitely cried over a girl, even in this way. Tears were flowing down my eyes. I was absolutely ecstatic. What felt like not only did I regain my emotion as a human, but I found the girl that I thought I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Just 1 week in, she met all of my friends and I went against what everyone told me not to do, and I asked her to be my girlfriend. She sat there, the biggest smile on her face when she said yes. I remember her telling me like, do you think it's a problem that I'm 3 years older than you? In my mind, I was like, no, I don't give a fuck. Like, you're hot, I like you a lot, this should be cool. Before we get into the tips, never ask a chick to be your girlfriend in a week. That is the stupid. Wait for the girl to approach you and ask if you want her to be your girlfriend, because then you know that she's starting to make up her mind and see you as a good partner. In our whole time together, I think we went on only 3 real dates where we went out for dinner. The rest of the time, I would just always go over to her house and we just chat and enjoy life, and it felt way more like I was with a best friend than a girlfriend. And on the 2nd week in, she met 2 of my best friends who are in a couple, who are actually engaged now by the time this video comes out, so shout out Maya and Ahmed. You guys have got me through so many dark periods of my life, and I'm extremely grateful for you as friends. Congratulations on your engagement. I remember this was the first time that I saw how she interacted with other men, which poked this deep, deep insecurity inside of me. Watching her talk to one of my best friends who I see as an extremely masculine figure, an extremely athletic man who does what he wants, the way that she talked to him was like she knew exactly what to say to get him to like her. And from then I would notice how she talked to other guys, like when we would go to the gym together, and I would always notice that she was just so fucking good at talking to dudes, which I've come to realize that you would usually come to a woman's sexual experience and her sexual past that she is just conditioned to be extremely good and proficient at talking to men and getting those men to fall in love with her or to like her. Up to this point in our relationship, everything was going amazingly. She would always send me those cutesy, you're so handsome texts, and I would respond back with this extremely like sensitive man stuff. Like, oh baby, I'm so happy I met you, and I can't wait to see you later, baby. And we would see each other almost every second day. We would do everything together. But I noticed as time went on, we went from doing everything together to me realizing that I was imposing myself into her life and trying to do everything that she was doing. I would cut work off early. I would lie to my coworkers and say I finished a project early just so I could go over to her house and just sit with her while she would do her work. After this experience, I realized that she had a lot of masculine qualities as a woman, where she was really in tune in work, financial status, and she really wanted to create a living of her own. And we went from seeing each other almost every night, texting every day, to me begging to drive over and pick her up from her work, to drive her back to her house, which was only like a 10-minute drive, just so I could see her for 10 minutes that day. And I noticed as time went on, she was pulling away more and more, and one day I got this gut intuition feeling that something was wrong. And now, boys, as a man, I think the most reliable source of information on anything that you can have is your gut instinct. Now, this might sound like bro science or placebo effect, but I truly believe the male instinct, especially when it comes to how their women are treating them. I know when I say this, a lot of you guys will relate to this, but I got this long 2 fucking scroll message talking about how she was feeling this well of anxiety because we were moving so fast in our dating life, and she just wanted to take a step back, take the label of boyfriend and girlfriend out of the equation, and just see where things went. And that brought me this level of crippling anxiety that I have never felt in my life. I remember, luckily, I don't know how the stars align in this shit, but I was sitting down with my therapist that day. Yes, I'm a pussy, I go to therapy. I was sitting down with my therapist and I was reading this text to him, bawling my eyes out. And he was explaining to me, he's like, you should read that again, man. You forgot to see all the parts that she was positive about you. So I read it again, and I saw some of the parts where she talked about how I was very special to her and she did not want to lose this relationship, which assured me a lot. However, we set up a time that night to talk about things, and I was terrified. For the first time in our relationship, I did not text her for the whole day until that night. And for the first time, she reached out to me asking to hang out. And that's when I noticed that every single time we would get together, it was me asking her. And it was so strange to me that, like, oh, come on, bitch, the fucking 6 hours that I don't talk to you, now you want some attention, some validation, god damn. So I drive over to her house that night, extremely anxious, thinking about all the possibilities that would go wrong, fully expecting that she would break up with me. And I approach her outside of her apartment, head down, mouth breathing, looking through my eyebrows, pulling my neck in, my shoulders curling up, and she came out smiling like the devil. And that scared the fuck out of me. I was like, come on, I thought you were gonna break up with me. Why are you looking so happy? So she pulls me into the house. And as I enter her apartment, I am terrified that she is gonna break up with me on that spot. We are sitting 10 feet apart. I'm curled up and huddled like a little ball. And I was so confused to as why she acted like she never sent me that text message, like nothing happened. And then I just couldn't take it. I had to bring it up. And that's when we had 3-hour conversation. And I'll never forget that she told me that all these guys that she dated, they would always fall in love in 2 weeks to a month, and then things would go great, and then turns out the guy became a psychopath. And I was understanding, so empathetic, listening to what she was saying, reassuring her that what she was doing was not wrong and everything would be okay and blah blah blah. In my mind, it was the most productive, loving 3-hour conversation I've ever had in my life. The anxiety did not go away because there was something in my gut that told me that this wasn't the end of things. There was gonna be more hardship and more bullshit in the future that is gonna be a lot more painful than this. That this isn't the end. I was so terrified of coming off one of those psychopaths guys who's just using her for her body that we slept together, but we did not have sex. Woke up the next morning, we went to work out, and I remember her telling me that that night she was gonna go hang out with her friends that I've never even knew she had, and that she was gonna go to a football game with them. And I resisted all the negative thoughts of her lying to me and possibly going out to a club and getting fucked by Chad, Brad, and Diesel, that I just remember telling her, like, oh yeah, for sure, baby, like, I'm so excited, like, have a great time, enjoy, have so much fun. Every single time I would show her that I wasn't anxious about what she was doing, it would really shock her for some reason. So she went out with her friends that night, and I just sat on my bed, my heart pounding at triple the speed, thinking about all the things that could go wrong, but I would always pretend to her like I wasn't thinking about anything. And that night after she went to her football game, she texted me that she was going to the club. And I knew that this girl liked to go party once in a while with her friends. And every single time in the past, I would be more than happy for her to go and enjoy because I just had full trust in myself as a man that she would not leave me for some low-value guy that she met at the club. But this time was different. I stayed up all night thinking about every single possibility of her cheating on me, leaving, getting fucked by other men. I did not sleep I came back to her in a few days and I couldn't hold it anymore. I pretended to her for too long that I was completely secure and happy with the relationship that I had to tell her. And I told her about all these things that I learned because for me, my coping mechanism is research and knowledge on the topic, and I was learning all these things about attachment styles, and I was terrified that she would look at me as a weak man. And maybe she did, but she looked at me dead in the eye and said I was very brave for telling her these things, and she was extremely accepting of it. That she would reassure me more through the text, and she did. For the next day, she would text me more often just to appease my neediness. We even planned a trip to a local island by our city that week. And I remember I was scourging on the Airbnbs, thinking, oh, would this $2,000 a night one be perfect for my baby? Oh, and I would send her the Airbnbs and she would just message me back like, okay, sounds good. And I would keep asking her because I needed that reassurance that she would go with me, that the relationship was okay. Like, it's okay if you don't want to, just let me know now before I book things. And every single time she would be like, yes, yes, yes. And one day before we were supposed to embark on that trip together, she stopped texting me, and I never heard from her again. 3 days later, after talking to all my masculine friends about how to approach this situation, they came at me with a lot of love and compassion and told me, hey, you don't need closure from this woman, because that's all I wanted. All I wanted was for her to tell me the truth and tell me why she left me. I would have much rather hear her tell me that I was a weak, fragile, needy, clingy man than just leave the dark thoughts to like fester in my mind, right? But she never did. I sent her a long message, and I'm looking back at it, I was very proud how I approached the situation with telling her how much she meant to me, but I could not continue a relationship with someone who disrespects me like that over and over. I apologized to her. I apologized that I was not a complete man, that I was needy and clingy, and I had these things about myself that I haven't worked out, and I apologized that I was not right for her. And it took me a lot of time to come to terms that she would never reach back out to me. Every single day for a week, I cried into my pillow every night, thinking about all the times I fucked up, asking her to be my girlfriend too soon, begging to go see her at night, cooking food for her just to bring to her because I knew she was tired from work. This is like what the woman's job should be, right? Like nurture and love and care, and I was doing it all. And finally, a week later, I came to terms that I was gonna be okay and I would move on. She even blocked me off her Instagram, and I would still use my second account to check once in a while and see her just like having fun working out, like nothing ever happened. And the day that she unblocked me was the same day that I felt like I could get over her. And she posted a photo on her story. A photo with her with another guy, with the caption saying something like, "This is my favorite man. I love this man to death." I remember at first I looked at this guy like he was nothing. Just a rebound relationship, another guy that she would do the same thing that she did to me. But no. As the weeks went on, she would post this guy every single day, and I could see through the screen her love grow for another man. The biggest pain you can experience as a man is watching the woman you love lose belief in you. Because why would she have left me? It's because she didn't believe that I could eventually become a superior man. I could eventually become someone who lets go of his anxious attachment style, eventually become a man who is purpose-driven, who lets go of being needy and clingy. It is a lot of work, and we will be diving into each one of these topics in extreme detail in the future episodes. As a man, watching the woman that you love lose belief in you is the most soul-crushing thing a man can experience. I was seeing this other girl, and because I was still so drastically in love with this last girl, I didn't get over her for months. The new girl that I was with, I would test her to see if she was like the same type of woman, and I hurt her. I hurt her really bad because I started to learn about the toxic red pill side of self-improvement. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the red pill stuff, the cold truths about the world, how to approach women, the no-fap is extremely, extremely beneficial to a man's timeline of knowledge in his life. However, I think when you go down the extreme side of it, it's basically just the other side of the spectrum of the blue pill, where you're just in fantasy and in love. And where you want to be in your self-improvement journey is right down the middle, where you're still a very loving, present man, but you are the superior version of yourself that is extremely capable. I was not that. I went to this side, and I remember I would text this girl one time and then leave my phone for 2 days. And although on the inside this wasn't me, I wanted to express my gratitude for this new girl coming into my life and truly becoming the most supportive woman that I have ever met, and the most secure, loving woman. I would test her with all these things, and I would question why this shit wouldn't work. For example, we'd be cuddling together, and anytime she would try to bring me closer, I would resent it, even though instinctually I wanted that. I wanted that love. I wanted that affection from a woman, but I would push her away because in my mind I was so hurt. And in my last relationship, being close to a woman is what drew her away from me, is what pushed her away. I promised myself I would not get close to this girl. So there I was, 3 months after losing what I thought was the love of my life, and in the most pain I've ever been in, to having this girl come in who was the most kind, genuine, sweet, supportive, nurturing woman, try to patch up that wound like a band-aid, and then having her leave, feeling like the painkiller was gone. I fell back into every bad habit. I slept at 3 a.m., I woke up at 12, I would watch porn for 3 hours a day, I would just sit in comfort, pretending to my friends and everyone online that I was doing all this work when truly I was doing absolutely nothing. And through my 2 years of experiencing depression, I always thought about what it would be like if I put a gun to my head and just took my life. And all those times I never wanted to do it, I would have never went through with it. But that night, on Christmas Eve, I begged God to bring someone into my life that would end my life. And all I wanted to do was just express what I was feeling to another man, but I had nobody to talk to, and I remember my best friends being gone that day, so I called up my father. This was the first time I spoke to him in 5 months. I took him out for dinner, and I told him about losing the girl, to the car, to the financials, to the members of staff leaving, and everything, how I felt about being depressed. And he just sat there, took it in, and laughed. And watching my father laugh at all the trauma that I'd been through in just the past 3 months gave me this new perspective. He's like, "Are you physically hurt?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Do you believe in yourself enough that one day this will all be fine?" "Maybe." "You're still my son. This shit's easy. Every guy goes through this. You'll be fine." And that opened a new perspective that I never had in my life. For the first time, I saw every event that ever happened to me that I felt negatively about, that have truly crippled me, as my fault. If a woman leaves you, it's your fault because you did these things. And that's the first time where I took true accountability and true responsibility as a man for all these things that happened to me. And that night, I wrote down that I was gonna dedicate my life to self-improving, because I realized that if I wanted to be the man that not only women, my friends, the people who follow me online, my father, but myself can be proud of, I have to become the superior version of myself, like the superior Damo. And over the next 3 months, I learned more about self-improvement than I learned about fitness in 10 years, because this was something that just hurt me so bad in my life. Nothing had brought me more pain than all these experiences leading up to that breakup, leading up to that final night. I told myself, if I didn't dedicate my life to self-improvement and self-improvement now and forever, that I was not only gonna keep feeling this pain over and over and over, but it was gonna get worse, and I would never live up to that potential of becoming the superior version of myself. And we'll talk about this at the end of this video, but in just 3 months, on March 1st, every depression, every breakup, every hardship, every negative thought was gone, and it hasn't returned since. And that is all thanks to self-improvement. And that's why in this channel, my goal, my purpose is to bring you my personal, vulnerable, most painful fucking stories, so you can relate to me. And you can see that the things that happen in your life, yes, they could be easier on a scale than what I went through. They could be harder, but with just the knowledge of self-improvement and the dedication toward it, that you can change any terrible life into the life that you actually need to go out and live. This is the part in the video where all the guys with like the low attention spans who just want to see another guy on the internet who've gone through like a similar pain and like just relate to him and don't actually care about improving themselves. This is where they click off. But this is where the men who truly care about improving their life and never want to go through the hardships that being a weak man will bestow upon them, this is where they stay and learn. This is where I promise that in every single one of these videos, I will give you applicable step-by-step tips, guides, advice, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to handle every single situation that we're talking about. Because the difference between this self-improvement channel and all the other fucking ones is that I'm not just here to just fucking juice you up and give you that motivation that yes, you can do it, and that stuff is great, but that will only last for a couple minutes and then you're back on your bed fucking jerking at the porn going, I'm gonna be an alpha male. You don't do anything because you don't actually learn the actual steps of how to do things and why they work. This is my 5-step guide how to get over any breakup. Why am I even talking to you guys about masculinity? I'm literally sipping from a little sippy cup, you know? 1. Learn about the difference between masculine and feminine nature. If you grew up very brainwashed by modern society like me, thinking that men and women are not only equal, but they are the exact same, they both have to provide the exact same value, having this mindset will bring you the most pain you've ever been brought in relationships, because men and women are not intrinsically the same. Men have innate qualities such as protection, provision that they bring to the table that women can, where women have innate qualities such as nurture, love, spiritual support. If you guys have ever been in a healthy relationship and you know the best feeling ever is when your girl tells you that she's proud of the work that you were doing and she supports it, that's beautiful. Learning how and why women act a certain way will expand your mind so much to know how to handle each situation and not have resentment toward women and hatred. On that spectrum, you can fall into that red pill trap that all women are shit, all women are hoes. But let's be honest. Have you ever seen a red pill dating coach on YouTube that is in a loving, supportive, long-term relationship? Fucking rest my point, man. The first book I recommend to you is The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. This is recommended by almost all self-improvement YouTubers, but I learned the value of this when I was speaking to a man that I respect so much. My buddy Noah, he's 21 years old. He has a multi-million-dollar online business. This book is like the guidebook for young men in the modern world. I would say it's probably 30 to 40% all about masculine purpose, drive, how to find your purpose, but it's also 70% about the masculine nature, the roles that the man should take in the relationship, and the feminine nature, why women act a certain way, how to not only attract but retain the women in your life. Let me read you one of my favorite chapters, just a little bit of it. Chapter 32, she doesn't really want to be number one. Now you may be asking, what does this mean? The book goes in to describe how, although a woman might say that she wants to be the number one top priority in your life, an extremely feminine woman, which I'm assuming is what you men want to find in your life, doesn't want to be the number one priority. She would rather you be on your purpose of your masculine work, whatever that is. It could be creating a YouTube video, creating an online business, providing value to other people like I'm trying to do right now, service work, whatever it is. She wants that to be the number one priority in your life, because if you go back to literally the fucking caveman days, it's in our DNA. You can hate the world for this. You can hate God who made women. Women will always be the most attracted to the highest value of man that they can find. And the highest value of man has the highest masculinity. And the definition of masculinity is a man who is almost 100% about his purpose and his drive. And that's intrinsically attractive to women because the woman will feel safe with you. That not only you're providing financially, but she can be assured that she is not the thing that will cause you the most stress. Rather, your work is the thing, and she can be the one who brings you the most peace and love in your life. She does not want to be number one. She wants to be the next priority in your life. The second book I would recommend to you is Attached. Who the fuck read? By Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. Now, this book is not so much about masculinity and femininity and nature, but this is where I got all my information about attachment styles. Quick summary on that, it's a theory that the way that you were loved by your first parental figures, your guardians in your life, from the ages of 1 to about 7, because that is before your brain is fully developed, that will cause the biggest problems, successes, and how you approach your relationships, not only your sexual relationships, but your friendships, your co-workers, with everything in life. I learned that in myself because as a child, I experienced this childhood trauma where my parents would give me a lot of love and then pull it away. My young brain, although consciously I know it's not my fault that my parents were withdrawing their love from me, but subconsciously, because the brain is not fully developed, I would believe that it was my fault that they would go away, which develops a lot of neediness in the person and creates a lot of anxiety. Now, the most interesting thing is you might not remember these things happening to you as a child that much. However, it is so innate into your genetic, into your DNA, into your core, your soul as a person, that these things will play out in your life. 50% of people in the world are securely attached, which means they can enter a relationship and know that although they might be heartbroken when it's over, they will be okay. An anxious attached person is typically what women are more like. That's just because women are more emotional creatures than men. The The anxiously attached person will enter into a relationships and want a lot of love from their partner and pull their partner in closer and closer because they believe even the smallest signs of their partner leaving, it will blow up in their mind that means the end of a relationship. The last one I'm going to be talking about is the avoidantly attached person is the person that enters into relationships with a huge amount of childhood trauma. This is very typical in men and very broken women that have just been with a lot of broken men. The avoidant attached person will come into relationships with all these walls built up, that when someone tries to tear the wall down and get to know them more and becoming more intimate, not only sexually but more emotionally intimate with them, it pokes at their core that reminds them of like their daddy leaving them as a kid, and knowing that if they get close and attached to this person, that when that person leaves, it will hurt them more than anything can hurt them in their life. So they build up these walls and they push their partner away when their partner gets closer. In future videos, we'll do like a full guide to masculinity and what it means to like find the purpose as a man, and how to just like, we'll also give like little like tips and tricks of how to talk to girls more masculine, because if you acquire those skills, even if you fake it in the beginning, you'll be able to build that into your personality. And I truly believe that your deepest, darkest desires as a man, like even if it's just, I want to become that like superior alpha Chad, look fucking sick on the outside. I think that the way of the superior man really talks about how you, as a man, you should own what your personal deepest desires are and learn, act like those in the beginning until it gets built into your nature. Number 2, practice hardcore discipline. When I say hardcore discipline, I mean you need to pretend that if you do not do these steps of discipline, these things will happen over and over and over again to you. The reason that you're so attached to this girl and that you can't let go of her is because you don't have enough self-love and respect that you can be okay by yourself. The best way to build self-love and respect as a man is to be extremely disciplined. If you're in the darkest depths of breakup, despair, and hell, I would recommend starting with a 30-minute morning routine. We'll dive into this extremely deep in another video that consists of meditation to practice like reps in your mind of clearing the mind and living in the present. A sleep schedule that you can and will follow, because that will reset your circadian rhythm, which will bring natural dopamine into your life. And most importantly, scheduled in blocks of work. No matter if you're in school, you're starting an online business where you have deep work blocks and you stick to them and force yourself to start. There's not a worse feeling than being heartbroken, coming back to your bed at night knowing that you had 5 tasks in the day and you did absolutely none. Practice hardcore discipline. Number 3, journaling. Journaling is gay. Oh, only girls journal. That's what like a diary is for. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. There are 4 forms of journaling that I always preach. Number 1 is gratitude journaling, where you write down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for every single morning with the statement, I am grateful. This will produce natural dopamine in your mind and will train your brain to experience thoughts of gratitude more and more throughout the day. This truly saved my life. Anxiety journaling, where the most pressing thought that keeps coming back to your mind every single day, every single second of the day. For example, in this case, why did she leave me? Or what did I do wrong? You write it at the top of a blank note, set a timer for 30 minutes, and just write whatever the mind has to offer. Because how the mind works is like it's a data bank of information. I believe everyone's mind is smart enough to generate the answers. And the way that you found out most of the answers to the greatest questions in your life is it just came to you one time. This is like those shower thoughts, but forcing yourself to have them. But when you write and you keep writing, you will get to that point of having like that aha moment where you understand. Purpose journaling, very similar to anxiety journaling. However, the statement should always be, what is my purpose? How will I find this purpose? And what will I need to do to sacrifice this purpose? So step 1 of that is you write until you find your purpose. I would literally recommend, if you are in the deepest, darkest depths of despair right now, just shut the fuck up. There's no other answer except for turning off your phone for 3 hours, setting a timer, and writing out the statement, what is my purpose? And writing out everything that the mind generates. And you will eventually, I guarantee, find what your purpose in life is. And the writing might start out absolutely retarded, where you're writing about shit that doesn't even make sense. Like, oh, I had a pizza today, that might be my purpose. Eventually, getting all those bad ideas out, your mind would start generating the good ones, or the ones that align to you more. And then number 2 part of that is you want to write, what do I have to do to get to this purpose? And I would create a list of 10 minimum things that you must do to get to this purpose. And the last one would be what you have to sacrifice. When you're writing from your pen or from your pencil, write with a pencil, don't be a bitch. When you write with your pencil into the paper, back into your eyes, it trains your brain to see that as the most prevalent thoughts, because the brain can hold like billions of thoughts of information and memories. The top 100 are the ones that keep circling, and if the top 100 are negative and not about your masculine nature and your purpose and what drives you as a human, then you're just gonna be stuck in an endless cycle of negativity. So actually writing down what you have to sacrifice will allow you to see the stakes that are on the line of what you have to do, because you just went through this whole practice of writing down what your fucking greater purpose in life is. Last but not least, pros and cons journaling. I would do this for the woman that you've just lost if you were in this situation. Write down her full name, write down a list of all the pros that you can think of in a 10-minute timer, all the things you liked about her, but then write down the cons list. Write down the things that she did do wrong and the reasons why you aren't compatible together. Could be as simple as she was a picky eater to more deep, like this woman is actually a more masculine woman, and because I'm a guy who wants to become a more masculine man, I would like a more feminine, supportive woman in my life. Writing down those pros and cons will allow you, same idea, to visually see on pen and paper and have it reflect back into your mind and train your brain to think about it more, reasons why it wouldn't have worked out anyways. And I'll say I'm so happy that I learned about this journaling principle from not only my very masculine friends, but other self-improvement YouTubers, because it took me out of that extremely toxic self-improvement space where all the women are hoes. I know a lot of you guys are like me when you were younger, extremely emotional and feminine. This is a great practice that can prove that you can use that emotional feminine side to create the most masculine life you can live. Number 4, one big goal. You are going to write down one big goal by the end of this year that you will have to accomplish. So be honest with yourself. It has to be a goal that you know you can achieve, but you will also gain a lot of pride from. Write this down every single day into that same journal. I would use the purpose journaling work to create that idea and then find a goal that can align with that long-term purpose in your life. Mine was this video that I posted on my other channel called How Benching 405 Saved My Life. It is basically what I'm explaining in this video, and it's just a very dumbed down YouTube version. Over the past year, I had this goal to bench press 4 plates on the bar because it came from this meme that I was making on TikTok, and all the kids love that I played this character of this old guy who was at the gym who'd always lie and say, oh, I used to bench 405 back in my day. And, oh, your mom, son. Oh, your mom. Honestly, I never even cared to do it. I just thought it was a hilarious idea. When I created that purpose in my life, if I could name one thing that broke me out of the depression of not only this breakup, but over the past 2 years, it was creating that purpose in my life. Every single time my brain was switched on, I was making those videos and I was sacrificing time, energy, resources, money to create those videos on this 20 episode series. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't sad about the breakup. In fact, I was so fucking proud of myself and my team dedicating to this idea and this love that I had to make that video. The whole message of that was that it truly doesn't matter what your goal, what your purpose is. It could be the absolute stupidest thing in the world. I would prefer it to be something that builds your masculinity, builds your self-improvement, something that's not fucking haram, boys. Whatever it is, if you are intrinsically attached to that, and by that I mean it is a pressing thought that you think about every day. Like for me, it was like, oh, I'm so depressed, but I know I have to bench this 405. Oh God, I have to bench this 405. I have to make this video. One of the lights just turned off. Fuck my life, right? Because I sacrificed almost a year of my life to get to this point, and I created this do or die scenario in my mind that if I did not get it, then all the self-improvement, all this meditation and journaling was no meaning. All this sacrificing bad food and eating 5,000 calories every day and gaining 40 pounds of body fat just to do this goal, it would all been for nothing. What nobody's heard in that story is when I benched the weight, it felt great. When we were spending 1,000 hours editing the video, finding the perfect music, trying to get the story most concise, it was amazing. It was euphoric when we rented out this movie theater and me and my editors and my producer and my best friends all sat down to watch this 1 year's work of video. It truly, truly brought me fulfillment and purpose to not only have thousands of men and women watch this video and tell me that it was the catalyst in their life to start self-improvement and to get over whatever they were going through. I was positive that if I had this information about the masculine nature, gratitude journaling, feminine nature, being on your purpose, being disciplined, that this woman would see me as an extremely like masculine man, and she would probably have never left me for someone else, and things would have worked out probably amazingly. I would think every single day, would I go back to the moment that we met with all this information if I could? There's no way in hell I would have went back to correct the past with the knowledge I know now, because it wouldn't have created my current future. And that is the most powerful part of self-improvement, is that you not only let go of a disgusting, painful past, but that disgusting, painful past becomes something of pride. Because you are so proud that you have went through things like that in your life, and now you're on the path of becoming the most superior version of yourself. Which brings me to number 5, do or die scenario. You must in your mind tell yourself that if you do not stay on self-improvement, that you will either end up giving up and killing yourself. And I know that's brutal to hear, but that's what happens to so many men. Or that you will remain weak for the rest of your life. The reason I'm so harsh with it, boys, is because I notice in myself, there are moments that I want to quit. And I might quit for half a day, for a whole day, it's never been more than like 3 days, but it's not forgetting. I would make the excuse not to wake up to sunlight in the morning, not to dopamine detox, to keep scrolling, to want to go back to watching porn, and nothing has brought me more pain and self-hatred than that. There is this whole self-improvement trap that you can get stuck into, but the general principles of self-improvement is just young men fucking trying to improve themselves, trying to get rid of all these demons in their head and becoming the most superior version of themselves, and that is fucking beautiful. So none of this will work if you do not tell yourself that this path that you are going on has to be forever, and it will get tougher, and you will have to do more and more and more. But if you stop, and if you quit self-improvement, you might as well end up dead. Because I guarantee you, and I've felt it myself, you will go back to becoming that weak, in pain, destroyed version of yourself. So on the days that you wake up and you don't want to journal, that you don't want to do this, and of course as you go on your self-improvement journey, you're going to find things that might replace journaling. You might not have to anxiety journal forever. You might not even have to gratitude journal, and you will find your own ways of self-improvement, and my channel will teach you more variety, more ways that might work better for you. But if you stop self-improvement, you might as well end up dead. None of this will work if you don't keep at it every single day. Because the only thing I have to sell you is the message of self-improvement. Because in my life I've gone through so much pain and trauma and failures due to not having any of this knowledge. I want to give that to you, and I want to keep sharing all the most vulnerable, darkest things that I have to say, because I don't want to see the young men of this world go through what I went through, but not find self-improvement and learn how to become the most superior version of themselves. So thank you for watching this first video. Talking about self-improvement is the most pressing purpose in my mind. And if 100 videos later I can have someone tell me that these videos have saved their life, I will have done my job. This is only one of my stories. I love you boys. Start self-improvement now. Peace out, you beautiful, sexy motherfuckers.